Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Tuesday. No, Wednesday, 31st. I'm going to lose track of days again, I think. All right, so I thought what we do for the video today is I brought in a whole trailer load of stuff the other day, and I posted the video this morning of my grandson and Claude doing some minor stuff to get things running. But I thought I'd go through step by step of what we're looking at, what I think we're looking at, now that I've had a better chance to get a look at them. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday. Today's Wednesday the 31st, and we're talking about a load of our yard is full. Okay, so on the video that I posted this morning that we did 2 or 3 days ago when we brought them in, it'd be last Wednesday, so it'll be a week ago. I thought I'd give you an update and where we're at and what we found and what we're looking at, that we think we're looking at. So the first thing I showed you was the chipper. You still can't break it free. So that's going to take a little bit more time. And if it was just a Predator engine, I'd tell Track Supply go ahead and just put a new engine on it, or we put a new engine on it. But it's Kohler. And we've had this discussion with them. This chipper and this wood splitter have not been out, has not been sold. They pulled it out of their fenced in area, and this is the way they found them. So I said, are you covering the engines during the winter months? No. You shouldn't have to. Yes, you should. Because what ends up happening is the snow builds up and it finds ways into that engine through the exhaust, into the fuel. So I said, this one here you need to learn from. I don't care if you take just cheap plastic garbage bags and just cover the engines on this equipment, even when you're not using it. You don't want it so that it's air restricted to a certain point because you'll get mold, right? But you got to have it just covered, so that it gets free airflow too, but it keeps everything from getting down on top. The wood splitter, we ended up taking the flywheel, but the rewind off. And we put I think it was an inch socket or a 3/4 inch socket on it and just started wiggling it back and forth. And then it broke free. And then we just left it in the off position and just kept pulling the rewind to get it cleaned up in the off position. Because I checked the oil and the oil was orange. We drained all the fuel right down to the carburetors. They're full of water. And that was the same deal, left outside uncovered for the last 3 or 4 years. So you guys that have got this equipment to home and you don't have a building to put it in, so you're just leaving it outside to the elements. That's something to keep in mind that you may be ending up with for issues. So what I did was I drained all the oil out of it, put fresh oil, a new plug, and all new fuel on it. Like I say, we drained the lines, everything. And first pull started. Yep. So we let it run for a little bit, and then shut her down again and rechecked the oil, and it was milky colored. So I knew there was still some left in there, right? So we did another complete oil change on it. That's ready to go back. These units are going to get discounted and sold because they've had to be fixed on. And not a one of them is warranty. If a homeowner came to me with these two units, I said, come on. You can't fix stupid. You got to take care of this stuff. If you want it to last, you got to take care of it. Again, if you don't have a building to put it underneath or an eaves just to keep the weather off from it, throw a garbage bag on it through the engine. All right, so the bad boy that was on the back of the machine. Okay, here's the deal that I think's going on with it. First of all, the key switch, the solenoid, wasn't working right. So that's how this guy has been starting it and using it. It's got 25 hours on it. And it was bought this year. The guy only had it for a week. So what is that telling you? It's telling you or telling me that the guy is mowing commercially with it. Claus John Deere that he bought 3 years ago has got 21 hours on it. Pretty decent yard. And for you guys that are doing commercial, if you buy that unit and you're going to do commercial mowing with it, there's no warranty. None. You avoided the warranty by doing commercial. They make commercial machines just for you guys. The homeowners edition, just same thing like the generators. The homeowners version is not going to help somebody that's off grid with solar panels, that's using it a lot of hours. It wasn't made for that. It was made for the average homeowner that might start it once every 3 years because the power went out for maybe 24 hours. It's not made for continuous run and a lot of hours, because we end up seeing a lot of champions, and that's what the big box stores sell, right? And we're a champion warranty shop. We started seeing a lot of champion generators coming in, no compression. And you could see that when you pulled the head off, it was just, she was a worn out puppy because of continuous run. There's a time and a place for everything. And to my guys that are using it off grid, isn't it cheaper to go out and buy a commercial unit and it's going to last you a long time than going out and buying 3 of these champions a year on your credit card to save money? Because there shouldn't be a warranty shop anywhere around that's going to say that that's warranty, so it's going to cost you to fix it. And a lot of times those champion generators aren't worth the rebuild. So it's a catch-22. You can rebuild it, which you're basically doing the piston rings, maybe jug, and they get another 100 hours out of it. But the bad boy, when it came through, it had no fire. And what I'm leaning towards right now, because we haven't had a chance to get back to the mowers, is that bad boy. I'm thinking that, because when you put the brake on, you should be able to start that without anybody on the seat. Okay? And Claude put a new solenoid on it, but the relays, he said he can feel a click in the relays, but after pulling them out and moving them around, because they're 4 of the same relays, I think it's that safety switch on the brake that is screwing the whole system. that safety switch is saying that the brake is still off. It'll run and it will mow, but to get it started, you're not going to do it off a key switch because that safety switch is involved. And once you sit on it, if that brake switch isn't showing that there's, somebody was, is showing that there's somebody on the seat because it started when they're on the seat, they can mow all day long. But if they put that brake on to step off from the machine, it will die. So I think it's right there is the biggest issue. The Cub Cadet that's on that was on the trailer, that ended up being a battery was flat, carburetor, your accelerator and choke, it wasn't coming far enough back to come off choke, so it was smoking like a bugger. But we got that charged up. That's ready to go home. That's Tractor Supply. Somebody bought it, used it, brought it back to the store, and just swapped it out for another. So that'll be discounted. The Toro Time Cutter. Beautiful machine for you guys that are looking for a nice machine, air ride, everything else. Better. I even thought about talking to him about that one because the John Deere I'm using right now was probably 12, 13-year-old when I bought it from the sheriff. And I've got another 13 going on 14 years this year on it. But it's never let me down. What's that song, Never Let Me Down? But that ended up being is the spindle and everything comes together, right? And then you have kind of like a Craftsman where you have the shaft and it's just a hole in it. And your spindle is all together, and then you have this bolt that goes up in and tightens the blade. Well, it snapped off inside, and as I explained to them at Tractor Supply, it's probably cheaper at this point just for me to order a spindle for it than it is for Claude and I to dick around trying to get it out. Labor-wise. But I don't care. Which way do you want me to go, right? So they said, just use your better judgment, Eric, that you always been good to us and fair to us. So that's what we're looking at with the stuff that's on the trailer. And we got the clutch in for the Ford 8N. Claude's got that button back up, running, driving. The hydraulics seem to be lifting just fine. So that can go home. The hydraulic pump came in yesterday. So we can take the hydraulic pump off from the TA60, T60A or something like that, Ford New Holland. It's got a new fuel filter or new oil hydraulic filter and all new hydraulic oil in it. We'll mount the pump and then we'll finish the service and that's ready to go home. What else do we have? We've got a Ferris that it's one of the rear where you sit in the back and you steer with a wheel in the back. I think, no, it's you steer. It's weird because you can do 360s with it where you're on the seat. But maybe you guys can give us a thought too. We went ahead because what it was is when he brought it back, he wanted a few things done. He wanted a wire changed on the starter solenoid because he thought that it wasn't charging. It's charging just fine. He had mounted a winch to lift and lower the whole deck area, and it would run off a push button on a handle. And he wanted to know if we could wire that back into the main control panel, and we got that done. But here's the issue: is when it starts right up, runs, drives, all that kind of stuff. But when you put the deck in, the RPMs drop and never come back up. It's not running where it needs to be. You can hear it. It's not running where it needs to be. So I took the cover off the belts and everything. The pulley's spin free. Everything looks good. I've lifted the deck. All the blades are spinning free. So where I'm at with that right now is, do we have a PTO clutch that's breaking down? Because if we have one breaking down, that would be sucking extra juice. And the bearing in it is what I'm looking at. But the bearing in it, if it's got a growl or it's not good, then it would have restriction, right? It couldn't come up to speed. Give me your thoughts in the comment on that, because maybe you've seen this before. We haven't. We normally don't see a Ferris, and this year we have the two brothers and sister, and each one of them have one of these Ferris mowers. So we've seen 3 this year. I'm gonna start wrapping this up because we've been in the hayfield the last 2 days. It rained, so now it's push on the customers' machines. Leave in the comments what you think on each piece. If there's something that maybe we missed or a different way you approach it. Because like I've always said, my grandfather, his saying, but it was somebody else's. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than just one right way to approach it. It's whichever way is easiest for you to accomplish it, right? And when you're in business, especially in repair business, the quicker you can get stuff out, the quicker you get paid, the better it is, right? So we tend to look for the quicker way out versus, having it sit here long periods of time and the customer not getting it back. So today I've got a delivery of that John Deere. I got to drop back off for the guy in the river, had the service done. The 8N is buttoned up, ready to go home. The hydraulic pump will be going on the Ford New Holland. I'm going to check that safety switch on the bad boy. We're going to go ahead and lift the Ferris head up and drop the PTO clutch and see if there's any growling or restriction. And as I explained to the owner yesterday, I may have a used PTO clutch here just to try. And if it works, I'd sell them the clutch for a heck of a lot less than new, or we'd end up buying a new one if that was it. If I check that and it doesn't help me, then I'm going to have to look at something else. So on that note, you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for watching.